I'm Kate. This is Innovator.
Hi.
Carlos is heading in the back.
I'm just running around here.
You made something. Maybe you'll not too much. So, you were all at George Ali's presentation this morning, right? Where he was talking about innovation and risk-taking. So it sounds like this is the direction we want to go. And we were starting to realize how it goes to us, that it's hard to be an innovator. It's hard to be the first person to do anything. It's hard to be the only one doing something. For so many reasons, right? One, there's no best practices. You're making the best practices. Two, what if you get it wrong, especially if you're in your faculty? That's a lot of time to put into something that's never going to be a presentation. It's never going to be a publication. It's never going to, it's a huge investment. You're taking a risk with your students, with your time, with everything. So how do we get people to be risk takers? How do we make them or ask them to do this thing that almost is hard, right? So what we said is we have to make it a little bit easier, right? And we thought about the things that people are doing in the world today, right? Everyone does have Foursquare and badges, right? So sometimes you can make things more fun with games. So that's what we were thinking. Moving on next. Right. We want an organizational culture that values innovation and technology adoption. So we did a couple of things at first. The first steps were this innovation celebration. So once every semester, we identified a group of people who were doing the new initiatives on campus. The people who were creating the asynchronous courses, the people that were using iPads, the people that were doing things for the first time. And we kind of got that list together. And then we threw them in a really big party. We got a cake that was shaped like an iPad. We got groups together where they just talked, right? So a lot of the time when you're the innovator on campus, where maybe not everyone is innovating, you get a lot of naysaying, right? You're saying, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and everybody's saying, it's gonna work, right? And you're saying, but I'm trying, let's talk about it, right? So this way we got everyone together who was only hearing the good stuff. So we created a space that was safe for the people who are like, maybe failing, right? Maybe not failing, but they're taking risks. And no one's focusing on the possible failure. We're all focusing on like the trying and what we're learning from trying and the possible success. And then we said big party, and then we said cultural artifacts, right? So to perpetuate this across campus, so that it doesn't just stay in this innovators group, but so that other people see what's going on too. We made pins and buttons and said people who are using Blackboard all wear a badge, right? People who are using portfolios all wear a badge. And people on campus, actually, faculty started wearing badges. And that was kind of cool. I mean, and then other people say, where'd you get the badge for? And then they said, using Blackboard. And then other people say, oh, how do you use Blackboard? And then the conversation starts. And so technology adoption, starts with the innovators, and then they perpetuate it across everybody. And it works. Our innovators group, like when we first started, we didn't have very many people on the list. They don't remember the exact numbers.
It was about like 20 participated, 25 the first time. So later on that group really increased. The second time we ran this and we started budgets, actually a lot of people went on to increase that number. So because they want to be part of that list, somehow they were encouraged to use it, to start using technology.
And I think we got 75 people on our innovators list.
Yes.
So and many more people that they're measuring and pulling in. So I don't know. Our idea was take the people who are innovating, celebrate them, encourage them, really build community in that group, and then ask them to spread the word. And it seems to be working. So, and then the next step is how do we do it virtually so that the badges are integrated in the other stuff they're doing. And so it's really, the idea is to innovate with technology. So it makes sense to not only have these
every time we came up with a new project, we only have the same team, the same group. They already were like technologically savvy, but always the same one. What we want is like, how do we attract other people who are not? How do we get them started to use technology? And then we came up with the idea. This is, for example, this picture that you are looking at right now, where the original things design that we have. This one for people who use ePortfolio, Blackboard, mobile learning over there, mentoring, which is something that we implement in the hybrid and asynchronous courses when people are developing them. And then, how do we expand this? How do we really make it something that they can use? And a lot of institutions right now are using badges all over the country. So we want it to be the same as them. Then we came up with this idea. Then here are like of the badges we have developed so far. And it is online, and they just accumulate as much as they try to use. Like for example, we have 3 levels for Blackboard, which is called bronze level, silver, and gold. Gold is someone who has a very structured and heavy course on Blackboard, uses the great center almost for everything. So we have certain criteria they have to meet. We have also, this is the mentoring, we have the online, we have the portfolios, we have those who use blogs of wikis and journal. So there are different of them, and we give them points so that they can see the difference when they start using this technology. Just gonna show you quickly. And this is was set up using WordPress. That we have our own installation. We call it a social network, Augustus Community College. That's where we keep adding them and giving people the points according to what they use, because we really look how they use the technologies in their courses. Here you can see like clear description of the points, the name of the badge, what they symbolize, what they represent, the points they have, of what they need to accumulate, what they need to do in order to earn them. And here we're going to go to the leaderboard, which this was a very short list at the beginning. Very, very short. And now this is keep increasing, and that's something positive that we have seen, because people who use not technology, they're being attracted now because they want to be part, they want to have somebody that represents them. And we actually saw a really big increase in the number of points that certain people have achieved from the first time we did it virtually to the second time, which was this semester. A really, really big increase.
How many of you are in the CUNY Commons? CUNY Academic Commons is a similar installation as what we have, and it's the WordPress CBACs that CUNY Commons developed, and we're using the same system. The same idea is to bring people from your own network and just nurture it. The whole idea of this is, how do we nurture this community? We want to make sure that this community grows, and this seems to be identifying those artifacts that allows you to provide recognition, to provide acknowledgement of, yes, you are taking a risk. And we know that there are different processes for the regular processes for faculty classification, tenure, promotion. But this, our goal down the line is to use systems like this that bring what is happening now in teaching and learning, that you just have different ways of teaching. Teaching online, teaching hybrid, is different modalities that are not yet incorporated in the way we are revising those guidelines in teaching and tenure and promotion, for example. So we wanted to see that created this system where faculty earn those micro skills or micro recognitions so that they can prove that yes, I'm mastering using Blackboard, for example. And the goal levels we have saved it so that in order for a faculty member to earn the goal levels is if they have mentored somebody else. So in that sense, we're not keeping this community, we're not keeping it just because they're going to be earning points and getting to different badges, but also pushing innovators to bring other people on board and then bringing this community bigger and bigger. And we've seen, as Kate and Wilfredo were mentioning, we've seen a great number of faculty who were hesitant on trying using iPads, for example, or like, I don't know how to change from face-to-face to hybrid. But because they sensed that support from this community, they were not afraid of asking anybody from that community for help. And faculty are just willing to provide any support that they could. And we see more and more faculty who were very accepted to any of these innovations at first, to be the ones that are now the new innovators, the new mentors that are helping in that sense.
You used to hear people saying, that's hard, or that's not a word, or I don't want to do it. And now our goal is to change those words to, oh, that's fun. Oh, I get cake. Oh, cool. like that's the goal, is that we don't hear people on campus saying, oh, that's hard, or oh, I don't want to do that. We want them to say, look how many points I got, look at my badges, this is really fun. And it seems to be working. I hear a lot more people saying, I'm going to the EdTech meetings, these are fun.
You see, the way I call it is a healthy competition.
Yeah.
Right? So you have that additional pressure that you have a leaderboard, that they see who is the top innovator, and they know who to call also. So, oh, I see, Santi Figueroa is our top innovator at Hostos, so we know who to talk to if they have questions about online learning, or if they want to start that discussion. So sometimes you're afraid of not knowing who is doing what, and then just asking those questions, how do I start? Or did you have any challenges to get to this point? And we are kind of just enabling that type of discussions that are happening, and it's been very successful in that sense.
You see, like, for example, here to those at the top, we give the additional, I wouldn't say prize, I wouldn't call it prize, just something to recognize them so that they feel good. We give updating them a mark so that they only to the top 10 ones.
And the mark has, of course, it has the branding, so that whenever they're using this mark, they're using those pens. It says EdTech Innovator, so they feel special, they feel recognized, and everybody on campus will know who they are. So that's, and it falls out into this whole idea of how to do organizational culture change. How do you identify those different artifacts, no matter what type of artifacts you use, to nurture your community. So in this case, we're just focusing on badges and how this whole new movement is helping out to get this organizational culture change.
Sometimes they even get attracted because of the way the badges were designed, which are really beautiful.
So I think that thank you very much for being here, and if you have questions.
We can fill out the questions and do the questionnaires at the same time. So thank you very much for your presentation. If anyone has any questions, the floor is open.